How's it going? So this is just a quick little kind of supplementary video where I'm just going to quickly touch on a few things that I forgot to include in some of the last videos. So these videos aren't going to include everything that you can do, but it's going to give you, the basic rundown. My goal is to keep things, I think, like I said before, short so that you can just, click on a video. It's nothing too long. It'll give you a quick rundown. So if I do miss some things, I apologize. And if you have more questions, hey Sam, how do I do this? You can always reach out to me. But just in regards to layers, grouping of images, alignment of images, there's just a few things that I'd like to touch on that I forgot to mention before. So for starters, I'll take you into here. So one thing, just, layers, you may or may not really know what that is. You can turn any layers off if you ever want to. You can lock them into place. So in a situation like this where you're going to be working with things on top of this rectangular shape that we've got, the white. So if you remember, this is the background, and then we've placed a shape on top of it to make this white rectangle, and then we've got these pictures. So the first layer would be the background, the second layer would be this rectangle, and the third layer would be these images here. I believe I've got that right. So I'm gonna go into my layers. So the first one, if I were to, just turn this off. So there you go, that's my background. Second layer is the shape. Third layer is gonna be those images. So I'm going to click on layer 1, which is the rectangle, and I'm just going to lock it into place. So now that I've done that, basically, I can't click and select that anymore. So I can't move it around. It's just locked right into place. And I think, you'll find that that's kind of convenient when you're working on the page. So that is one thing right there. And I'm just going to click save, and I'm going to come out of here. Another thing that I wanted to touch on while I was still thinking about it, got this other page over here. So our alignment tools. So, this image obviously should be, maybe more over here. So maybe if I want to line it up with this image right here. So basically, like, I'm going to choose this bottom image as my root. So if I had this over there, there's my root. I'm going to hold shift and click this next one. Come into my alignment tools, and now, boom. So when I click this one, it's got the line over here to the left, which means I want to align it to the left. This will be align it to the top, the bottom, right, centered on each other. So you get the idea. So I could go through and do a little bit more here. So now I want to maybe bring this image and align it with the top of this big guy right here. So I clicked on this one, and I'll do that, and I'll align top. And now I'll choose this, and then that one down beneath it. I'll align that. And then from there, I could maybe I want to make this a little bit bigger to cover some of that space. So then I have to double click on this image to make it, actually fill that area, and then give it a little bit of a center. And you could do some of the same stuff here. So I could maybe grab this one, hold shift, click the next one, align to the top. Now I've got those two aligned, but these two right here, maybe I want this back aligned to the top. This one has a little bit of an empty space up here, so that's why. If it's got that little bit of an empty space up there, then it's gonna maybe look like it's not quite aligned when really the program thinks it is. So if I do one of those, and now I try that again, that's gonna fix that for me. So that's just, kind of the quick rundown as far as how those aligning tools work. It's just going to make your life a little easier. You can do it by hand. You can follow these dotted lines come up, and it kind of snaps into place. So that works too. But the alignment tool just might make it a little bit easier. And the other thing I wanted to show you, so we've got grouping here. So if I want to group all of these images, say, okay, I've got the spacing just where I want it. Everything's aligned how I want it to be. Now I don't want to like accidentally do that. If I do accidentally do that, I'm going to come right up here and just click undo. But if you want to, you can group everything. So I just highlighted all these pictures on the left page and I click group right up here. And if I want to ungroup them, I just do that. So when I click on that, if I wanted to ungroup so I could work on this one image, you know, that's always an option. Looks like I accidentally just grouped a few of these instead of all of them. So let's just do a quick ungroup there. And now let's do everything. So now I've got the whole thing. So then if I wanted to rotate the whole thing as a group, I'm going to maintain that spacing. If I brought it over here, another thing that I don't think I mentioned before, but if you give a right click, you can send something to bring something to the front. You can send it backwards. I can send it to the back. So now it's going to be behind all of these images. So if you had some text that you wanted on top of that, I'm going to bring this back to the front. And I'll maybe turn it back to where I had it before, just at 0. Kind of pop it back into place, click save. Alrighty, I hope that was helpful.